Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 859 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Takamalda, and I am joined, shockingly, by Chris DeBona.
Shockingly?
And also shockingly, equally shockingly,
shocking
by Rob Roseboom.
Shockingly?
Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Oh, gentlemen, we're filled with energy today, aren't we?
Well, I mean, I think I'm 80% water.
Oh.
You know, so
hence the shockingly.
Right.
I mean, how much of your body is adenosine triphosphate? You know, the engine of the mitochondrial soul, right? So probably
four units.
I mean, probably not a lot, but yeah. Anyways,
4 units. Let's see. What do we got on the list? Okay, the first one we got is, this one's funny. The U.S. Trademark Office has officially canceled the shared trademark that Marvel and DC have held for decades over the term superhero.
yeah.
Ugh.
If ever, that's one of those things that just makes me so angry.
It's such a dumb trademark.
I'm surprised they hadn't pulled that into the. Do you remember the old board game Dungeon? It was like, it was during the Satanic Panic, you could feel good about your kids playing it because they weren't using their imagination. But
there was a board.
They might imagine demons.
One of the characters you could be in that game was called a superhero. They didn't have fighters or warriors. You could be a fighter, a superhero, a wizard, or an elf, if I remember right.
Ooh.
So, just wait till they find that out.
Well, not anymore. Now they're safe.
Elf, hero, superhero. Yeah. And it was made by Wizards of the Coast and TSR.
Yep.
Well, TSR then. Yeah.
That's how they get you hooked.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like the marijuana of Dungeons and Dragons.
Playing,
they give you a little taste.
playing dungeon dice.
For you.
Elf, hero, superhero, and wizard. What is that?
That's
nonsense?
an IKEA ad.
I got to start using the pie hole, man.
Yeah, you do. I feel bad for you. Let's see. No, that one's been one that's been on the books for years and years, and that there are a few trademarks that make me as angry. That's like trademarking water. You can't have water as your trademark. We trademarked it, jerks. Not cool. The next one that I have on the list, it's 23andMe. The inevitable has happened. It's on the block. So now somebody who will definitely not be largely funded by, I don't know, the Saudi oil family or private equity is going to own everybody's DNA. And they're definitely not going to do anything wrong with it. So don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I like that. I like that story.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me 23andMe kits for me and my family, and they sat on my shelf for a year. And I spent the entire time thinking, if I take these tests, someday something bad is going to happen. And I don't want my DNA to be in somebody else's database. And halfway there.
Not me. I did it right away.
Right away. You had to find out
if they want to know you, they're going to know you. I hate to tell you that.
That's true. It's like credit, the credit check companies. Those guys make me so angry.
Yeah.
The only thing I do give credence to that is using DNA with junk science to say you're going to get this condition, so now we can't, pay for insurance and stuff.
Well, that's the thing.
But I'm a little touchy with insurance stuff.
Yeah.
If you combine I'm going to get a little political. If you combine the Republicans' desire to bring back pre-existing conditions with genetic assays being sold off to insurance companies, you have a very bad situation being set up.
For sure.
Well, that was exactly my reasoning. Is that I looked at my family and I looked at a couple of conditions that family members have that are genetic. I'm like, it would be cool to know if I'm 4% German and 2% Neanderthal,
But here's the thing: they aren't legally allowed to talk about health stuff with DNA anymore, because what we know about that is so rudimentary and so bullshit.
Yeah,
it's still sort of pseudoscience. They can kind of tell you if you have the gene that makes you more likely to get a disease, but that's not. We don't understand the mechanisms well enough yet to say that you will get that disease. So there's no way they can correlate that.
But like, there are so many things that they don't necessarily correlate, because it's not about scientific fact. It's about profit margin.
All you have to do is look at all the junk science with ballistics that's come out in the last 20 years and all of those things.
We still use lie detectors,
experts and stuff, like turns out all of that doesn't work either.
Yeah, lie detectors. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of that stuff, but like, it doesn't matter, because it just comes down to who's going to make the money. And like climate denialism. I mean, the science is pretty clear, but the profit margin is just like, no, we're not going to change. Too much money.
Well, sure, but that's already an existing thing. That mechanism is already running.
But they use
this is
pseudoscience
something that they would have to implement already. This is something they actually have to build. I'm not saying they're not going to build it.
Oh yeah,
but one is much easier to do than the other.
Fair enough. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Eventually, everybody's going to. I rewatched Gattaca, maybe a month ago, and I remember that movie was fine, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's like almost real now. And it's real in a lot of ways now, but it's almost real. And at the time,
I want just from earlier in the show, it turns out you have about 1/6 of a pound of ATP in your body.
All right.
So
4 units,
maybe less depending if you're skinny or fat. But yeah.
All right. Cool.
You basically go through your entire weight, your body weight of ATP in one day, and it gets recycled a lot.
All right.
There you go.
So,
I know that'd be very important for you to know. I'm sorry for interrupting. Let's go back to the insurance scam that is American healthcare.
Yeah, the pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
I actually was having a conversation with that because like I know what my insurance is going to go up to. I have a pretty good idea next year, and like that line is hockey sticking, and it's been hockey sticking for years. Like, when does America break? Like,
you think it's not broken?
I mean, it is in many ways, but like at some point, I don't know. Let's not go down that road. I'll get depressed. Speaking of kind of funny things, Fidelity had an investment apparently in Musk's in elno's purchase of Xitter. And they have cut their the estimated value of their holdings by 79%. So I think they said that the estimate he bought it at $44 billion, and now they're estimating that it's worth $8. Now, the $44 billion.
For context,
they invested a tiny amount.
Yeah, $20 million.
I mean, we were all heavily involved during the bubble. This feels familiar, right?
Right.
No, there was never a minute where you said, "Oh, yeah, investing with Elon and X is a good idea."
Well, and more than that, the whole thing about like his purchase price was stupid. Like he bought the thing for twice what he should have paid for it in the first place because he was a fool, or he was foolish.
Well, I mean, my question is, are these marked against like some SpaceX or Tesla shares? So they're like, yeah, we'll give you 20 million if you basically collar us with Tesla shares or SpaceX shares.
I was reading an article recently, and I don't have it handy, but they were saying that of all the CEOs, Elon Musk is kind of the only one that you can evaluate using the same metrics as you would a politician. And because he's so polarized in the last 10 years, he's become just as polarized as any of the leading politicians. And they were saying that it was something like a swing, and I don't remember the numbers, but it was like 80% of Democrats would consider buying a Tesla to like 20%. Like it's an insane percentage. It was like maybe 20 or 30%. Like, so the guy lost 2/3 of the Democrat buying market in the last 5 years because of his behavior entirely with Twitter. Because before Twitter, I was thinking about it. Before Twitter, the only real things that people hated him for was like the scuba diving, pedophilia.
If you had paid attention.
Oh, for sure.
He was on Rogan a whole lot before all of that with anti-vax stuff and all. That is the beginning of it. Him buying Twitter was just done out of that whole thing because he'd been bitching. But I don't think he ever wanted to run. I think he just bought it to prove a point. That's why he didn't care how much he paid for it. He
bought Twitter for the same reason that Trump ran for president in 2016.
Yeah.
He decided to sleep in the bed he made. What a weirdo,
right? That story will.
He really started to slide down that avenue during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And it.
Yeah. He went full nut bar during the lockdown.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not full ivermectin, but horse adjacent.
I don't know.
But, yeah.
Sure.
We all went a little sideways, but I guess we don't all have hundreds of billions of dollars.
No, we didn't. We didn't go that sideways.
I said a little sideways. I went a little sideways. I don't know.
Did you try the ivermectin? You start like scoring horse paste from the Tractor Supply store? Come on.
No, but there was a time where we were wiping shopping bags. I mean,
sure, yeah. I mean,
so we all went a little sideways.
To be fair, I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't really care that much. To be perfectly, I did all the things I was supposed to, but I was never convinced the world was going to disappear from a very bad flu. It would just wipe out millions, like it did during all the other flu epidemics. This one's just a different virus, so I figured about the same outcome would happen.
I mean, yeah.
Do either of you follow the bird flu stuff that's been going on for the last few months?
Sure, yeah.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
It will be when the next pandemic hits. That's going to be the true test. I don't know what's going to break the country: the next pandemic or a second Trump presidency. But the guys who are going to the Bigfoot conference, they'll be fine.
I mean, Bigfoot is naturally resistant to bird flu.
Yep. He's got very advanced immunities. Do you remember, I mentioned this like a year ago, the Bigfoot movie that has no dialogue? I'm trying to remember what it was called now. I was just wondering if either of you
It's called like Sunrise of the Bigfoot or something like that. I watched it.
It's pretty terrible.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's awful.
Well, I just figure with, Rob's history in visiting
I've been
the Bigfoot conference.
Yeah, for sure.
This would be right up.
Oh, yeah. These are my people. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I started watching. I was like, I got to share this with the guys. This is so good.
Gotta find some Sam Squatch.
It's just these earnest Bigfoot nerds.
They didn't come to Chelsea this year. So
did they do the mating calls?
I didn't get that far in the video before sharing it with you. So
to be perfectly clear, I don't think there's any contest for mating calls for Bigfoot.
It's just calls.
No, just Bigfoot calls. Sorry.
Although I'm not sure how they determine a winner, since as far as I know, no Bigfoot ever really shows up. It seems like whoever calls and then Bigfoot's there, that would be the winner.
That would be the winner.
Yeah.
For us.
It's hard to judge when nobody's ever succeeded.
Right.
Well, what cracks me up is, I'm curious because I haven't watched the video yet, but somehow Andrew Callahan, he was the all gas no brakes guy. He manages to get someone to rap in every one of his videos. Like he finds someone wanting to rap about the topic.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird. It doesn't matter if he's at a Trump rally, a Gaza protest, whatever he goes to.
He's going to rap.
He finds some guy to freestyle.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
bet.
like,
So
holy crap.
one of my favorite things about these conferences is it highlights so perfectly that even marginalized groups marginalize themselves because there are like these people, they're all nutters to the general public, right?
Yep.
But there's a segment who are very scientific about it. There's a segment that believe Bigfoot exists in another dimension. There's a segment that believe he's a spiritual animal.
Or an alien, like this guy.
Yes. So they have 3 or 4 groups that all kind of get along, but if you talk to each one, they're like,
but those guys are crazy.
Bigfoot's from another dimension, people, please,
don't let me in with those nutters.
Right. Yeah. I'm my own unique kind of nutter.
And in my experience is that is true in everything.
In every culture. Yeah.
In every little segment, especially marginalized ones, people who are considered weird or nerds or geeks, they immediately splinter once they get into that group and find the same flavor of weird that they are.
I've made this joke many times, like at conferences, like during talks and stuff. But I always says the internet is a machine designed to take a population, divide it in half, and make the two of them fight, and it's a recursive function. Because each half then can be infinitely divided in half so that those two people can fight. No matter how obscure your topic is, you can divide the population in half and get them to fight. And that's what the internet is for. And the Bigfoot guys are definitely in that category. You could divide. That is a niche of a niche of a niche.
I think that's probably human nature in general. It's
for
just,
sure.
The internet is what we use to communicate now. So
it's just faster.
It makes it easier. It makes it faster to figure out who's an idiot and who is completely right and things like
legit.
Thanks, Vince Cerf. Thanks, Tim Berners-Lee.
Yeah, TBO.
TBO. Okay, I didn't read the urine bottle story. I don't want to.
I think this was a Zen story.
It was.
This was on the front page of the Purdue, college newspaper. It's a big deal.
In Purdue,
someone's leaving trucker bombs in this one study room in this hall, like floor 14. And the people who live up there,
they don't like it.
Have been told that they're going to be charged, and they don't like it.
I showed the picture to Kat, and she's just like, "That's orange juice." I'm like, "No."
She's like, Mountain Dew in there.
She said that the people who are leaving that color urine should probably see a doctor.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're just not hydrated. That's all.
It's probably just like pure beer fermented,
Right? So gross.
I just thought it was interesting that that Purdue has a piss jug problem, and I just like the way Purdue's pernicious piss jug problem sounded. I said it, so
your pernicious
piss jug
problem.
Pernicious piss jug problem at Purdue. That's nice.
Thank you.
You've written some headlines in your day. All right, the next one that we got on the list is a happy birthday announcement for President Jimmy Carter.
Jimbo.
Let's get that guy on the screen so I can take a screenshot. There we go. Look at that. Now, yeah.
Oh, fellas, glad he's alive. I don't know if he's glad he's alive.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to vote and I'm going to die.
He made it to 100.
Good job.
His goal is to make it to the end of this. Well,
make it to the election,
to voting day.
I assume he gets to do a mail-in ballot ahead of. I don't know what happens if you croak in between mailing in your ballot and election day.
I'd imagine it doesn't count, right?
I would think not, but I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a tricky one.
Sent in
if you die in Georgia.
Because
after your
I know one year I requested a mail-in ballot, but then I decided not to use it because I like going to the poll booth and voting. I find it to be patriotic and it makes me feel good, so I do it. And I went there and I was like, I had the mail-in ballot, and it took me an extra half hour because they had to find my number in some database and erase it, even though I never filled it out or mailed it in or anything. But because they had sent me one, I was on a list.
So it depends on the state because, the states set the rules, right?
Yeah.
That's the way everyone wanted them.
And is he in Georgia still? He's still in Georgia, right?
I know he had to sell his peanut farm.
Yeah.
Hope he got it back.
So Georgia does not have a statutory reference on the issue of people dying before their ballots are attached. It turns out that 10 states, if you're dead, cool, we'll still count your vote. One state only counts your vote if you were a member of the military, the armed services. 9 states explicitly say, yo, no, not cool. He's dead. So we got to strike that.
That would be really tricky, just timeline wise. Like, I mean, we've all dealt with deaths of family members over the years.
Well,
and
the last thing you think about is if they fucking voted by mail.
Well, yeah, but also like it takes months for death certificates to percolate through the system.
If you'll remember, according to that one database, I still am dead.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's true.
So
you look.
I can't wait for that to show up again when someone's trying to approve some paperwork.
You look alive to me, Rob.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess according to Gemini, after I was laid off from Google, it was telling everyone I was dead internally.
Nice.
Like, oh, that's cool.
Thanks, Gemini.
Thanks.
Kind of a jerk move.
Now we know who Gemini works for. Hey, the next one on the list, guys, it's spooky season.
Yeah.
I put a picture up for us to celebrate spooky season. There it is.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
For our podcast listener, first of all, you should come to our YouTube channel. You should subscribe and post a comment about the ray gun skeleton.
Yeah. She dances without rhythm, so she won't attract the worms.
Well, someone has to.
When she's pure bone, though, the worms don't actually have a lot to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll screenshot that. That would probably be a more fun screenshot.
That's more fun
for
than Jimmy Carter looking like a Halloween skeleton.
Poor Jimmy Carter, man.
A mummy.
Which one is which?
Ouch.
Oh yeah, she's wearing the outfit. I got it.
Right,
yeah. He's not wearing the wrapper outfit.
Yeah, he should definitely be wearing the Australian B-girl uniform. I'm glad that that's still going. The question I was wondering is who lasts longest in the zeitgeist, which Hawk Tuah, ray gun, or the penis pole vaulter guy?
Like, he's already faded.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
Hawk Tuah girl was way before her, so she's dying out already. Although I did read a story.
I mean,
I just saw over a million.
And she has done a bunch of podcasts.
Yeah, she has her own podcast called Talk Tuah.
Where
she's leaning in on the whole thing.
And it's only popped her head out a couple times. She hasn't really embraced her awfulness.
At least here, I mean, she's Australian, so maybe she's like the talk of the town in Sydney.
Yeah. Well,
or Melbourne, or where the hell she's from.
I'll just formally invite either Hawk Tuah or Raygun to be on our podcast. Either or
Raygun, sure.
Raygun. Hawk Tuah girl would never do our podcast.
Oh, yeah. Neither's Raygun.
It's not our market, man. Yeah.
This is more about reaching into new demographics, Chris.
She's trying to break into the cash me outside level of thing.
That thing. Ugh, that makes me sad. So the SpaceX Falcon 9 went up a couple days ago. They brought the capsule up that eventually will return our Boeing Starliner stranded astronauts. But unfortunately, this one apparently had a malfunction. So they're apparently going to be on hold for a few days or however long it takes for them to figure out. This was the upper stage, apparently landed. It missed its target for landing, and they have to investigate why. Now, I guess that's not quite as bad as
stranding astronauts on the space station for months.
Yeah, that seems a little worse, but anyway, I hope they figure it out. Chris, the next one on the list is your pair AI story.
Yeah, well, my pair. Yeah,
you wrote it.
All of our story. So, Y Combinator does our demo days. I guess they just finished one in the fall and in the spring. I
feel like they're always doing a demo day.
Well, they do a lot of demo days. And one of the many hundreds of startups they launched a demo day was something called Pair AI. And what they did is they took a open source AI code editor, which itself pulled together VS Code and an extension called continue.dev, which were Apache. And then they grabbed it, they slapped a proprietary license on it, and I guess the enterprise license was written by ChatGPT, and then they took all this credit for creating the software, and they changed the name in the source code for it. They just basically copy replace continue for pair. And it's like, we've seen this before, but people like really roasted them for it, which I'm okay with too.
Yeah, for sure. Roast away.
Yeah. And so of course on Elon's, shit flinging site X, people are like, dude, you just forked continue and took credit for it as if it was your own. And they're like, oh, we didn't mean to do that. And apparently I guess during oh, my bad. We love open source. And then I guess during their launch, he said that he stopped his $270,000 a year job at Coinbase to do this.
Oh, Jesus.
People are like,
really?
Maybe you shouldn't have, because you're kind of a jerk. And so anyway, so everyone's like going on about it. And it's just, the shitstorm of the week.
It's funny that this story has been repeating itself for decades.
Yeah.
Versions of this. I feel like we probably posted stories like this 25 years ago on Slashdot.
Oh yeah. We've been posting stories about this our entire careers,
right?
Oh. Well, what's funny about it is if you go into the Hacker News, Y Combinator's website.
That's a skewed view to read that stuff.
People they're like, maybe we should talk about how this is the third Y Combinator funded code editor, AI code editor, this year that you funded. And I'm like, yeah, that might be worth talking about inside the halls of Y Combinator. But I'm just like, they really take it to heart. You have to fund 100 to make one work. Okay.
Yep.
And admittedly, the demo day, you could do demo day with a bingo card where you're like, okay, where's the minority oriented recruiting startup, or the there were some that showed up every demo day.
Yeah, and you could definitely make a bingo card with the cliches of startups. And I went to a lot of those things over the years.
The bespoke post, but for shoes. And I'm like, was bespoke post that good of a business?
Yeah.
And shoes, So you want to recreate Zappos? No, you want to have custom Zappos that can't be returned. Okay, what?
Yeah.
But this one's going to be a disruptor.
Yeah, we're going to disrupt the bespoke shoe market.
We're already unicorning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one that we have on the list is California banning legacies for private universities.
Yeah. I just thought, so first of all, they're private universities, so the kind of leverage a state can have over them is actually pretty limited.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was wondering. But I thought it affects Stanford. It affects USC. So that's not just private.
What they found was that, so they banned legacy admissions into state schools, which is within their rights, of course. Yeah. And then they're like, and then they came up with the numbers of legacy admissions at Stanford, USC, and the other private colleges. Santa Clara, as well, which is where Newsom went. And they're like, well, this, and so they banned it, and the punishment, and I know this is going to sound super harsh, the punishment is they will name and shame these universities for doing it.
They're going to make a university that's hurt its feelings.
Yeah, they're going to hurt Stanford's feelings,
So when they name them, are they going to make a list of the bad ones?
Yes, they're going to make a list and say how many legacy admissions.
That hurts.
So there'll be a list where you could go and look.
So the numbers that they're already releasing, they'll combine them into one document and put them up on the internet.
If you search for it on Google, it'll say this page has been blocked because of the DMCA.
Well, it's funny because, you know, the reality is, you know, there are some things like they'd say, well, we're never going to fund another startup that comes out of Stanford or these universities that do it. We're not going to allow CalPERS to co-invest with Stanford. You know, they could have said stuff like that, but they didn't because it makes them too much money. And it's like, okay. So, you know, so what leverage does the state have over universities inside it? You know, and, you know,
we're going to give you a harshly worded admonishment.
Oh,
right in the feels.
Oh,
right in the feels. You know, because Stanford is known for being really sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, about their feelings, you know.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that's solved.
Yep.
All solved.
I think Deadpool comes out on streaming today.
It
really?
Was on
Deadpool 3 or the early?
I noticed it was on something last night.
Oh, that's great.
So that's probably what I'm going to watch tonight. I've only watched it 3 times.
I've seen it once.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's exactly what you're going to expect because you've read the spoilers now.
I imagine it is. I mean, I really haven't read the spoilers because, you know, I figured I'd watch it one day.
Wolverine's in it.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Never mind.
You didn't know that Deadpool and Wolverine featured Wolverine?
Yeah, I thought it was homage because that character wasn't going to come back ever.
Yeah, right. After Logan.
He got Logan.
Yeah, such a good exit.
Perfect exit. Flawless exit.
Flawless.
Could never be. Well, I guess they'll have to ruin it for you somehow. With one of the funniest action sequences ever. So there's that. There's actually like 5 movies coming out this week that on streaming services that I'm looking forward to seeing. I think
what other ones are there?
I don't know how you're going to feel about this one, but I think the Kevin Smith, the 4:30 movie, I think that's coming out on streaming this week too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah,
Kevin Smith did another movie.
Yeah, he made another movie. I think that comes out this week.
He should just team up with M. Night Shyamalan guy and do movies together because I could care even less at the same time.
That's probably more efficient. No, I don't have my list handy. And to be fair, the movie I watched last night was Romy and Michelle's whatever that movie is.
That's a great movie.
It's one of Kat's favorites. And
Isn't Vox Machina starting a new season Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. That's really good. I need that. Although I never finished Delicious in Dungeon. I could go back and finish the second half of that season.
I liked the beginning part of it more than the other part, but I did like the shtick.
Yeah, the shtick is great. I felt like they were wearing it thin. That's why I took a break from it. But I kind of feel that way about Vox Machina too. Like I like their shtick.
Oh, for sure.
But like that's one that if you watch 2 episodes in a row of that show, you can take your
Yep.
All right. You're on top of things today. All right. Well, I think we can say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye.
And I already said goodbye to Chris DeBona. That was episode 859 of Geeks in Space. Happy birthday again to Jimmy Carter. I was Rob Commander Taco Mulder. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.